Hi, Zoe. Hello, stream. I know we're supposed to be doing Motzi. Buttons had another thing come up, and so we're not doing Motzi. We're doing above the table.
Yes. Apparently somebody decided that the transformer didn't need to be there and decided to run into it and blow it up. So yeah, that's fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's the three of us.
I would
Plus a
assume
cat.
this is... Yes, I would assume this is a drinking and driving incident, so please drink responsibly and don't drive if you do decide to drink. And if it's not, slow down if it's snowy and icy. Any
Or
other
just
reason?
don't be dumb.
Yeah, any other reason, I will find you and I will break your kneecaps. Because you're dumb.
Yeah.
There's really no other reason that could be foreseen. Anyway.
Yes, so we might be going over VTM conversions from older editions into V5.
Yes.
And like what can work, what we can change, and cost of things, because that's confusing.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's like the worst part of it, is what to make everything cost.
Yes. Which is a lot of the problem with coming up with your own stuff. What's too powerful for what you're trying to put into it?
Mm-hmm.
Or what's too debilitating for what it costs?
Yes. But there's some really, really cool ones, and so I've made a very long list of things from, like, V20. Some of them might be Dark Ages, a lot of them are clan book stuff. Not everything, because a lot of them didn't transfer over well, but there's a good chunk of ones that might be showing up in some of our games either soon or in the next one. Because there's a couple that I would love to purchase on some characters.
Like a Malkavian?
Like a Malkavian, like some Brewhouse stuff. Even the Gangrel things are pretty kind of cool. There's one that makes your, there's a Flaw that makes your animal form look just as undead as you are. It's called Roadkill.
That's kind of neat.
Right, and there's also one, I forget what the name of it is, but it does like the complete opposite. Like, once you hit animal form, you register as being a mortal animal.
Nice.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff. So I don't want to screen share it, because there's a lot.
Yeah. Do you have a link that you can share to us?
It is... Well, you have one already, but let me send one for Ned.
Yeah.
That
way Ned can at least follow along where we are.
Links and stuff. You can actually change and comment on it too, so we can do comments as we go. So I can take notes on it. Good stuff.
Blasphemy. Notes.
I know. I really did put comments or changes, so. I spent time on this, as you can see.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, there's not
We don't
a lot.
spend time on things.
No, but this could actually be... I don't know if you... Ooh. I don't know if this could go on the Storyteller's Vault eventually, because it'd be a reprint of a lot of their stuff.
I don't think so, technically speaking.
Yeah, I'd have to look into this.
But in any case, worst case scenario, we have a link to this.
Maybe.
Or something of this.
Could be Patreon stuff. Who knows?
Again, I don't know if we can do that. So.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Rules behind it, but that's once everything's set to go.
Yeah, without proper accreditation at the very least.
Yeah. So a lot of them had weird requirements or had no requirements, or for like were clan specific things, which I think is really cool actually to have like clan specific merits and flaws. We have one single one in V5 that is a merit for La Sombra only. And it's not even like a good clan one. It's I don't know, it's kind of dumb.
That's probably why I don't know it.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time on our stuff. I will actually find it for you real quick. It'll just take me a second. I will know it when I see it.
I am going to just roll down through here and look for anything that looks fun to me.
A lot. There's some cool stuff. I know it's one of the cult ones. I might have actually removed the requirement in our thing. I think it's Insidious Whispers. When making a social roll to undermine a conviction, 1 rolled 10 counts as 2 rolled 10s, 2 still counts as 4. I'm pretty certain that's because it's Cult of Shalim. So like I think that is the, or maybe it was a flaw. I was wrong. It's called Schism, and it's a flaw. It's suffer a 2 dice penalty on social rolls with members of your cult. La Sombra only. It's dumb.
I mean, if you're doing a La Sombra only thing, then maybe.
Or, like, if you're doing the cult stuff, that's cool, but for that to be the only single clan-specific one in the entirety of V5 that I have found so far, that's dumb. We have other homebrew ones added on there, so there is clan stuff, but that is the only one that is raw. There's a couple really cool Ravnos ones.
I have to laugh at some of the names of these.
Yeah, I took the names from what they had, so. And there were some of them. I didn't take a lot of the Bloodlines ones, but there are a couple on here. There's like two things for gargoyles because they're interesting and would make good NPC stuff. There's a Bali one, but I also think that it could apply to others as long as it's approved. And there's also a couple sect ones, which I thought was really cool. There's more than what I transferred over, but the other ones were either covered by other things or didn't seem to flow well.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I was just reading the names of everything. I haven't actually delved into any of the descriptions. Are there any specifics that you want to talk about?
Yes, there is. I made comments on these. So there's one for the Bruja that I don't know what to convert it to. Hi, Kraken. So I pulled these from both old World of Darkness stuff and actually the by night LARPing ones. So I don't honestly remember which ones came from where, but there's timely intervention. Power of Temporis courses through your body, giving you an innate knowledge of the flow of time and making your natural state one of calm readiness. Where others may flounder and hesitate, you are calculated and precise, having learned that true speed is more a function of decisiveness and efficiency than rapid movement. For every Temporis power you possess, add 1 wildcard bonus to your initiative. So this is from the LARPing one, because they have the wildcard stuff. I really liked the thought of it, but I don't know what to change it to. Because it's a really neat concept. Like, you're just so soaked in celerity / temporis stuff that you just... Because it's obviously a true Bruja. themed one.
Absolutely.
So yeah, having that change to something would be interesting. Although this one was stumping me. Because at first I was like, okay, maybe you could go twice around or something. Which we could change that. Make it a 4 cost one or something like that. Or maybe even 5, although I think 5's too much. So 3 or 4. And you could just go twice around.
For as many rounds as you have celerity dots.
Yes, but most combats are over in 2 or 3.
Right. Most people have 1 or 2. Unless if you're Chevy, then you have 3 and working toward 4.
It could also be blood potency.
It could be. Which would be a lot more limiting. Which would realistically be worthwhile.
Right.
And it could be per night, it wouldn't necessarily be per combat. That way, like, you have an issue with the cops at the beginning of the night and you gotta run away, and then you're like, alright, cool, I want to use 2 here one time, and then at the end of the night you have to fight some crazy, I don't know, whatever, and then you're like, well, I'm going to use my other one here. So it could be a per night too.
It could be. What I changed in a couple of these was actually I made them cost a rouse check, even though they weren't a power, because they still pulled on the beast. So like at the start of combat, for the cost of a rouse check, you can go X amount of times per round per your blood potency.
Yeah, and anything like 1, 2 would be just an extra time. 3, 4, 2. Above that, you're probably not going to get, so it doesn't matter.
Right, and that would make Brujah Elders exceedingly scary.
True. And it would also just make elders in general scary.
Right.
Because right now, which elders are scary, really?
Yeah, they are scary, but not to the level they should be.
Right. You've got the Zamiti, which are typically like, not even the elders are scary, just like the normal ones that we interact with are scary. And then we have maybe a Lasambre or Hakata, depending on what they can do. So, yeah. Making another clan's elder a little bit more problematic wouldn't necessarily be the worst thing in the world.
I'm typing.
I know, I can see it changing. This is the wonderful thing about being able to see the same document at the same time.
Right. How would you phrase that? To the equivalent of your blood potency level? Or per the equivalent, or per number of times as your blood potency level? That look good?
Yes.
I'll change the effect to like just take away what doesn't make sense and to do that. These are just notes so I can go through later and actually fix and change them. Cost 4 though? Does that sound fair?
Yeah, that seems pretty strong, so that would be fairly Yeah.
Yeah, my thought would be 3 or 4.
I'd lean toward the 4 on that one.
Yeah, there were quite a few that I bumped up to 3 or 4s that were much lower. So let's see another specific one. There was a couple. It was mostly the ones that I did comments on. La Sombra, flexible morals is the next one. I even made it so nice for you guys. You can just go to the sidebar and click it and it'll take you right to it. When you live in a world of shadow, morality becomes just a shade of gray. You're no stranger to sin, and your study into the nature of darkness has allowed you to reach an accord with your beast. When you purchase this merit, if your morality rating is above 3, it drops to 3. However, instead of decreasing your morality rating when you accumulate 5 beast traits, it takes 7 beast traits before you decrease your morality. You are still affected by frenzy stimuli at the regular stages as per normal. In addition, any circumstance or behavior that would cause you to lose an entire morality rating, such as diablerie, still affects you normally. Obviously, morality is going to become humanity, but it still needs a little bit of tweaking. I just think it's a really cool idea if you're at a low humanity or a low path for La Sombra, given the amount of stains that they take.
Yeah. What I would say on that is
we can also nix it if we don't like it. These were just...
I like the idea behind it.
Yeah.
What I would say is when taking a stain and like doing a morality, or not a morality roll, but a
remorse roll.
That's the word. Making it easier for them to pass if you're at a lower humanity. Above a certain level for humanity, it doesn't really do anything for you. But if you're like a 2, 3, 4, it helps.
No, if you're at 2, 3, or 4, it is amazingly easy to pass them. Because it's your unstained humanity. Or it's your unstained, like, empty ones. That's why the higher you get, the harder it is to keep it. Because 1 stain, if you're at 9, immediately brings you back to 8.
Yeah, it's...
Because you can't roll over that.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll figure something out as far as that's concerned. But I do like the idea. Just don't know how to make it work.
Right. And there's a couple others that tap into beast traits. And I don't 100% know what beast traits are, but I think it's like stains.
It very well could be. I don't know.
Yeah, I hadn't looked it up yet, but there's a few in here that we need to figure out what to do with the beast traits. Represent the relative potency of a character's beast increasing as it actively strengthens or emerges. Incurring a beast trait represents a moment of weakness, surrendering to the seductive and destructive nature of the beast. So yeah, it's kind of like a stain. Not fully, but kind of. Method to the Madness is another one. This one I actually kind of threw in a potential and then put the original in the comments. So what do you think about the change on that one? There were others that I changed so minutely, or it just made sense that I didn't comment on the originals. But I really like the thought of this one, too. This one's like a mile long, so I'm not going to read it, but basically you just kind of know what to bring because of what you did in your downtime per the original.
Yeah. And rather than doing that, the change would be you can basically spend willpower like, hey, what do we do here? Or what's the best
Kind
course
of.
action?
Yeah, so it's like to get a hint from the storyteller or to say, yeah, I did that. Or I have that ready, or like I reach into my bag and pull out the documents we need or whatever. Because they just happened to be there. I thought that was a good conversion of it.
That's not a bad conversion.
And it obviously would be a superficial willpower.
Yeah. And I don't think it would be something that would be easily abused.
Right, and it would obviously be per the storyteller's discretion to have it allowed.
Yeah, obviously. So I'd actually be okay with that one.
And cost 3? It's kind of a... I wasn't sure what to make this one cost.
It's a lot like
Check the Trunk,
it's a lot like Check the Trunk, just more in the moment.
Yeah.
And that one's 1, or is that 2?
Of course I would have closed that. 1 second. If it's too similar to Check the Trunk, then maybe we shouldn't use it. I just like that it was flavored.
This is
like
better for like not just getting ready. It's better like, oh wait, I have that already. Don't worry about it.
Right.
Not, hey, we need this. Let me go check my car.
So Check the Trunk is 1, and it's easy access to an armor or cache of tools. None of these can exceed the value of something with resources 2 that the character could access. Add 2 dice to preparation rolls, whatever the hell that means.
Yeah. So this one, being 3, I think fits because it's like you walk up to a person. I need the invitation. We don't have. I have it.
Yeah.
I got one already. Don't worry about it. Bear with me.
Yep.
Or you're locked in a fucking room and like it's. What do we do? Because we checked everything. Go open the door.
Thematically, the checking in with the storyteller would absolutely be calling on the web.
Yeah. Or something of that nature.
Yeah, because that's what the original one is kind of like. You're just like, the madness is just, you do it right somehow.
Yeah. Have you tried to open the door? No.
It's fucking doors.
Oh, try it again.
Yeah, so I thought that was a good conversion to it. I'm glad you guys agree. I will take away the original one then, since we don't need it there. And it's just a wall of text. Because we,
Yes,
like,
it is.
we do stuff in downtime, but there's no, like, actual downtime actions or anything like that. So it just didn't really make sense.
Yeah.
So here's actually right below it is one of the ones that was... It either was or wasn't a clan-based one, but I felt it should be or could also be a discipline-based one. And there are a few that I changed to be discipline-based. The prophetic dreams, how I have it as Malkavian, or you just have premonition.
I would say more you need to have premonition to be able to get that one. It just makes more sense, to be honest with you.
You don't think it should be Malkavian? I mean,
it makes more sense to just straight up be a premonition thing, which most Malkavians
are going to have it.
Yeah, are gonna have it. And the ones that typically don't lean into the whole madness thing as much. So
That's fair.
Steven.
I think the Ministry one, personal cult, is something that Rufus would absolutely love to have. And a lot of these, even the clan-based ones, I could see going out of clan as long as you talk to the storyteller about it. Or not, I guess not a lot, but some of them I could see that. Like the Bali one, and then this one, because of the way you built Rufus, I could see you doing that one. Sorry. The cost, though, I don't know. Like, we could pick any of these and go over them. So, really. Because the cost is all... Most of the costs that I took are what they were originally, so they could and maybe should all change. There was a couple I changed, but not a ton. That one, oh, that one does need to be changed towards the end there.
What do you mean?
If you spend 3 blood? Yeah.
No.
Thoughts?
Again, I like the idea. Wording's a little bit heavy-handed on some of it, just for our purposes.
Yeah.
And then 5 dots in one of the following backgrounds. That's a lot. And
it is.
2.
That's why I said we could pick literally any one of these and go over it, and there's a ton to go over, so...
Yeah, I would say that would at least be a 4. Which I could realistically see that being a 5 with the last bit.
Yeah, because you have more.
Yeah.
The only thing that limits that is it being clan-based or storyteller allowed.
Yeah. Which basically at that point, the spend 3 blood, it's literally just the rouse checks for healing aggravated damage.
There, how's that? You can heal 2 points of aggravated, but you still have to make separate rouse checks for them. Because usually you can only do 1 with 1 set of... Or should you be able to do 2 with 1?
If you spend the night, or the day as it were, I could see it being just the 1 and being able to heal 2.
Okay.
Because let's be honest here. As a ministry, A, why are you actually fighting? Because that's not really your jam. B, if you're at 2, you're probably already super screwed up anyway, so you're probably going to be spending some time there.
I mean, you should probably be spending time there anyway. Realistically,
no,
that should be your haven.
But, yeah. I do like a little bit about this considered holy ground, though. That's funny.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. Mind games is the next one I actually marked. You are adept at creating especially twisted chimerical effects upon the minds of your targets. When you use the chemistry power Horrid Reality, your illusions no longer affect your target's physical body. They instead directly target the attack's psyche. If your illusions attack your target's psyche, your target must use a defense test pool consisting of their social attribute plus willpower to defend against any attack made by apparitions augmented by your Horrid Reality. Your attack pool consists of your social attribute plus subterfuge as normal. You may choose not to use the benefit of this merit. If so, your target uses the standard defense pool. I really like the concept of it. I don't know what to turn it into. And then the cost.
You can cause actual willpower damage with a high enough margin if using chemistry. Basically is how I would make that be a thing. The problem is I don't know what the margin would be for that. Like, how much of a margin is too much of a margin?
Right, because oh no, it is a contested roll. So anything over the win margin, you could do as willpower damage. So,
as long as the illusion makes sense to cause willpower damage.
Yes.
Because, like, I make a teddy bear for a little child. No, that's not what causes willpower damage, but like, I don't know, I make a swarm of locusts for this one particular person. That's going to cause willpower damage.
How's that? Obviously, I'll rework specific wording. But just the idea of it. You anonymous llama, you. Superficial for supernaturals / hunters, and then aggravated for unprepared mortals.
I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Because their mind just cannot handle it.
Yeah. It's like it is actually a problem for them.
Right. And next is cost.
Two or three?
I was thinking 3.
See. Yeah. Like I said, 2 or 3 I could absolutely see. Probably leaning more toward 3 just for the simple fact of, again, can be really, really good at very niche times.
Yeah. Man, can you imagine a Sabat Ravnos running around with that?
Exactly. Or, you know, Rufus rolls 11 again.
Right?
They're just comatose. They just shut down in fear.
Yeah.
Or
but I mean, really, that's what you would be doing. Instead of, like, staggering them for a round, you would literally be taking them out of the fight.
Yes. Which would give him actual, like, legitimate viability of, like, being in a fight now.
Yes, I can absolutely see that being one of the next things you take.
I would. Because let's be honest here, that he's done stuff already that could be some messed up shit.
Yeah. But yeah, it just strengthens your thing. Like, you cause a horrid reality for them.
Yes. And without looking at that particular discipline and a V20, that's basically what it does. At that point, like.
Hi, Furnace. We're just talking about old World of Darkness merits and flaws and converting them to V5. I have a list. I really like Waking Dream, by the way. Like, couple down. The Ravnos ones are really cool.
That is kind of cool, actually.
You just fucking will it into existence.
Just for a round, though.
Yeah.
I could see that being the counterpart to the thing above. Just you have to use Fata Morgana so everyone can see it.
What do you mean?
As far as to make that actually be a thing.
What, the Waking Dream?
Yeah, when using Fata Morgana, you can create a temporary reality. Good for a round or whatever. To be able to actually physically interact with the illusionary item. Whether it be a knife to cut a rope or a bridge across a gap. Or something of that nature.
Well, the thing is that Fata Morgana could make it for everybody and not just you. The whole concept of it is that it's just you.
I mean, that's fair.
So here's the thing: we could make it a 2-dot thing, a 3 and a 5. 3 being just for you, 5 being.
I'd be okay with that. Then I would be 100% willing to spend the money on the 5 and spend the experience on the 5.
Yeah. Seasoned Traveler was cool, and I thought it was a Gangrel one, but I figured how could this absolutely not apply to Ravnos as well? Again, we need to change cost on that one. That was just what it said it should be, or like from the original ones. There's a couple that increase your maximum dots, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But it only does so much, so I don't see it being exceedingly overpowered. I could see that being like a 2 or 3. Because it doesn't give you 2 extra dots, it just allows you to purchase them.
I like the idea. And if Ravnos were more, I want to stay out in the wild and stuff like that, I could see the...
Well, it's survival or streetwise.
Right. I could see it applying to the survival side of it. Streetwise, for Ravnos, I can see. Survival for Gangrel, I can see.
Mm-hmm.
Because one is very much urban setting, and one is a kind of everywhere setting.
So it should be one or the other. You pick streetwise or survival.
Well, I think it would depend on your clan at that point. If you're Ravnos, it's streetwise. If you're Gangrel, it's survival.
Technically, there are city Gangrel.
True. But
again, not so much in V5, but there's the coyotes are city Gangrel.
Yeah. survival can relate or be applied to a city setting as well. It's just this way they're more broad spectrum. I can go everywhere. Whereas like a Ravnos, yes, they do have the animalism, but it's not like they're, for lack of a better term, animals.
But that's also, I wouldn't consider Streetwise being finding places between cities or finding things on the road while you're out in the open.
I would say that's more populated areas.
Right, but Ravnos can travel from city to city and spend time on the open road.
That's fair. That's true.
Just because you don't play Rufus like that doesn't mean... Because your NPCs in your game do that.
This is true. So yeah, I would say pick one or the other. Doesn't really matter what your stuff is, but
yeah.
No.
2?
Yeah, it's not exceedingly powerful. So yeah,
it's pretty niche.
Yeah, extremely niche.
Oh, there's a lot of these that I see being mostly useful for NPCs, but that allows us to build more interesting NPCs.
Yes, more varied NPCs.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing.
Yeah, because as
Spike and Franny aren't the same freaking thing.
Right. Because for as good as Tiller is, he wouldn't be as good as a Ravnos or a Gangrel.
True.
So, yeah, that's kind of what my thought process was on that one for making it both clans. I did the same thing with the Fey Blood. It was originally a La Sombra one, a Kissiad, but I changed it to Ravnos or La Sombra. You have the ability to see past Fey means and glimpse the dreaming as if you were one of the Fey. However, this is not your world, so it can be discomforting and chaotic to view. In addition, you're considered 2 steps lower on the banality scale when interacting with changelings, and anyone who drinks your blood immediately becomes enchanted, allowing them to glimpse the dreaming. The effect persists for the remainder of the evening.
I feel like that would require a rouse check to be able to do.
Yes, I agree.
So it's kind of like a blood surge at that point.
Yeah.
And it would just be for the scene rather than for the evening.
Well, no, even for the... Holy crap, I can't spell scene. Even for the people drinking the blood?
Oh, no, just for you.
Yes.
As long as you're under the effect, they'd be under the effect.
There. The effects only happen if they consume your blood while it's active.
Yes.
Kind of a niche one. Doesn't really do much, but it's cool.
Right, and if we ever actually interact with Fey type creatures and changelings, that would be neat to see.
You'll be seeing Kissiad in Orlando.
True. But true changelings.
Right. No, I mean, like, they would absolutely have that.
Yeah.
And they might have a potion that allows you to do that. Who wants to see the Fae in Orlando? Oh boy.
I hear Florida man.
Exactly. But yeah, that it doesn't do a whole lot, especially in our games now. It's hard to abuse that one, but it's really cool thematically.
Yes.
So I see it staying at 1 not being a problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
Heart of Needles is another one that I don't know if it should just be chemistry or Ravnos specifically, or both. Your natural abilities with illusions have rendered you particularly jaded and unimpressible. How can anything be as perfect as your own imagination? Because of this, your heart is harder than most, and you have significant resistance to emotion control. All powers and social challenges that attempt to manipulate you emotionally are made at a +2 difficulty.
I would put that, because it does tie directly into your imagination and what you can come up with, I would put that as chemistry specific, not necessarily Ravnos, because technically speaking, there's a bunch of different clans that can get it. It's just not a whole lot of people do because it's very niche.
Right. Yeah, a lot of those I just wanted your thoughts on, because I could swing one way or the other. Obviously, I made the document.
Right.
There's a bunch of really cool Salubri ones. And then there's one that I put Sense the Unseen or Oblivion Sight. And it's kind of the thing you can get with the La Familia Giovanni, but it's not exactly the same. You have a ghostly spirit mentor. You have a ghostly companion and guide. The spirit is able to employ a number of minor powers when it really struggles to exert itself, but for the most part, its benefit to you is through advice it can give. The ghost is the incorporeal spirit of someone who is once living, perhaps someone famous or wise. The storyteller creates the character and doesn't give it to the player. I think Oblivion Sight lets you see ghosts.
Yes.
So to Sense the Unseen.
Right. The thing that Oblivion Sight does not allow you to do, though, is talk to ghosts.
Can you hear them?
I don't believe so.
Oh, right, because it's just sight. Okay, so I'll take away Oblivion Sight. Cost at 3?
Honestly, depending on...
2?
Because all it does is just give you advice. So, like, it's not super helpful. It can be at times, but yeah, I'd say 2. You can turn like, hey, what do you think we should do? And
or hey, can you... Well, per storyteller, it can go scout things. It could go do things for you. Give you advice on how to handle a situation.
I would make that a social role, though.
Right.
So, is it willing? Charisma and persuasion. Go for it.
Yeah, I can see it most of the time just chilling out in the Haven.
Yeah.
It's a lot more of a flavor thing, but again, kind of cool.
Yes.
Like, if you didn't want to go the Giovanni bloodline sheet for Amp, that would be exactly what he already has.
He has the discipline, where you can like make your own special shit.
Right, it's just that's what I thought of when I saw that. Because obviously you can bind and tether and summon and stuff like that, but that's all you need is Sense the Unseen.
True. And realistically, like a Nosferatu could get that.
Right.
But like anybody that's got Sense the Unseen.
Yeah, a Malkavian can be haunted.
Yeah. Which it could be.
Or a Toreador, haunted by the spirit of their muse.
Yeah.
Like, I could see a lot of really cool things going for that.
Yes.
Ooh, you could. Artist Blessing is another one of those that increase your base ones. I I mean, do you just want to go from top to bottom, or do you just want me to keep randomly picking and choosing?
Pick your favorites, and we'll talk about those now. And now that everybody's got the link, we can all go through it and put our own special notes in it.
Emptiness of Faith and Flower of Kapala for the Tzimisce. Those two are really cool. I don't know if Emptiness of Faith should strictly be Tzimisce.
I would say that wouldn't necessarily be strictly Tzimisce. But it would be more of a potential background thing.
So,
or cult thing.
Could be a cult thing, could just be a background. You are so adamantly atheist that it doesn't affect you. Much like their true faith. Yeah.
Right, so atheist or pagan. It says pagan there for one of the examples. But I think it's a really cool one. There's nothing to circumvent true faith.
True.
Not really. But I love the line, you, however, do not fear these vessels, God's wrath. Like, that's such a great line.
So to kind of go with that and do the opposite side of the coin, kind of like what we did for your last game. Not necessarily going the complete true faith route, because that would just be ridiculous. No.
But like a lesser version of true faith.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to be like, you can handle a true faith weapon for something else. But true faith when that kind of like thing, or it doesn't affect you as much because you are so like faithful, you can circumvent some of that as well. Just on a complete opposite end of the scale of that one.
There, cost 5 for that one? For a true faith one.
Yeah, that one would be expensive.
I
feel like both of those would be expensive.
Well, Emptiness of Faith is already 4. Should I change it to 5? I don't know if you have it pulled up, Nen. Those with true faith are a danger to any vampire. Their holy righteousness burns through ancient blood and bone. You, however, do not fear these vessels of God's wrath. Whether due to a devotion to your clan's pagan traditions or a resolute denial of all spirituality, you are immune to the effects of true faith for all but the most extremely devout. I actually added that last line. It was originally just complete exemption from true faith. And I was like, that's a bit much.
Yes. Like, let's see here.
Also, does that mean, like, the true faith, if there's, like, people left over from the religion that you follow, could that still hurt you as well?
I would say yes. Because, I mean, technically speaking, you could have true faith pagans. The only thing that you can't have is a true faith atheist.
That's a mage.
Yeah, that's a mage at that point, and they're something else.
I mean, I joke, but that's kind of what they do. They just circumvent reality and replace it wherever the fuck they want. So the original one's Emptiness of Faith. How about Fullness of Faith for the True Faith Kindred one?
Something of that nature.
There. How about that little addition? And you can invoke lesser degrees of true faith. That's what I allowed with Rufus.
Yeah. I can see that.
Maybe on consumption of a willpower.
Yes. By taking an aggravated willpower damage. Honestly, at that point, because that's a lot.
There. By willfully taking aggravated willpower damage. And then change emptiness to 5 as well.
Yeah. Just keep it even.
I like the duality between those two.
Yes.
And then... Actually, as much as I like the flower and Kapala's bounty, the Zlachta one, it's a lot. But basically, I put it as Zimitzi or flesh crafting. I can see it just being flesh crafting, but the Zimitzi is because your bloodline and your connections is why I left it in there. Each time you purchase a retainer, which this would be an addition to purchasing a retainer, you can choose for that retainer to either be... Or no, you have to buy this, and then every time past that you buy a retainer, this takes into effect. So you can choose for that retainer to either be a Hellhound if crafted from an animal, or a Zlachta if crafted from a human. You must pay all XP to gain the retainer as per usual. A character must have at least 3 dots of vicissitude, which I'll change that to just having vicissitude, maybe. And your loyal monstrosities may be further modified by your vicissitude. When you purchase this retainer, assign one of the following benefits, and then it's basically, I would just copy paste vicissitude. I thought that was kind of cool.
It is neat. It's a cool idea.
But
I don't know if it necessarily needs to be a merit, because it could just be something that you do.
That's fair. I can remove it. They had the Zlachta and then the Vozed one too. I didn't put the Vozed one in here.
I think move it to a ghoul merit. So we have something to keep track of all that.
Well, there is actually something kind of like this in the ghoul ones. This is just for the vampire, though. Or at least I think there is for the ghoul one. Let me find that. Where is the ghouls? Holy shit.
Okay, it's called vicissitude modifications.
Okay.
Like I said, good idea. It's just
That's
don't
fine.
know yeah.
I can remove it then. Like, these were all just ones I either came across that thought could fit or might fit or just good ideas. So I'll remove that one. Bam, gone. There's some cool Venture ones. So Venture royalty is interesting. Venturers, sovereigns of kindred society, they often lead a charmed life with money and influence beyond that of a typical vampire. By merit or perhaps via luck of your embrace, you are one of the clan's chosen, given special access to your lineage's private coffers. You can assign 9 total dots between the following backgrounds: allies, contact, fame, haven, herd, influence, or resources, you must assign 4 dots to one, 3 to the next, 2 to the final. These dots do not require you to expend experience. If you did, you can refund it. Yeah. And then if your dots assigned during creation of have already applied, you can move them to something else. It costs 5. Too much or no? I thought it was interesting.
It is interesting. Nine total dots is a lot, though.
It is a lot.
So bringing that down to 6, going 3, 2, 1, wouldn't necessarily be the worst idea. Because outside of
So it's just 1 dot cheaper.
yeah,
Which is a lot in reality.
yes. And it's not separate spends. It's just you spend 15 on this one rather than 9 here and 6 here and 3 there.
Yeah.
So you just get it in one lump sum rather than,
Mm-hmm.
which is really convenience rather than like mechanical. at that point.
Venture convenience.
Yes. Because if you do it right, you get allies and contacts and influence
Right.
all in one.
And 5 is a lot, but that's also very cool and easily figured out how to be purchased during a game too, because like you impress the Primogen or something like that.
Yes. Or you've been causing a whole lot of problems, so you get influence in the underworld, and then you get allies, and then you have a contact with them.
Yeah. So I like that one. Also, really fast mention, The Duty of Kings. I had fun remaking that one. And let me know if you think 2 is worth it. Command is the natural right and duty of a king. Provided you are able to use willpower to retest an opposed social challenge, you can do so without paying the required willpower once per scene. Should it be night or keep it scene?
I could see scene. Sounds like that's a lot, but
Our
Use
scenes
social
especially are very extended.
yes, do a social contest. That once per scene doesn't mean shit.
Right. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
Should I up the cost though?
Honestly, that doesn't seem broken to me.
Kind of what I thought too. And the wording social challenge, I would not allow it to be used for powers.
Correct. Specifically, I'm trying to intimidate this person.
Yes, or I'm trying to smooth talk my way into getting into this place or something like that.
Or I'm trying to blow smoke up this guy's. Well,
Right. So yeah, just a quick mention to The Duty of Kings. Love the name of that one, and I love what it is.
yes.
So there is... Let me find it, because there's definitely one specific one I want to talk about. Nope, not that one. Oh my god. It's called Bloodlined. I have a cost of 5. And this fixes a lot of the issues that come up with bloodlines that don't exist and things like that. Or if it's just something very small that you dislike. Perhaps your sire specialized in a non-clan discipline, or your kindred lineage's contains a hereditary abnormality, or you're part of an old bloodline. Regardless of the cause, you find yourself quite proficient in a discipline uncommon to your clan, but you are struggling with one of your clan's usual disciplines. I meant to put, you can swap an in-clan discipline for an out-of-clan discipline, but can only be taken on character creation and not by Caitiff.
I would be okay with that.
It fixes a lot of minor problems that come up with the bloodlines not being in-game anymore without making or purchasing a bloodline sheet.
Correct. Much like Rufus and his dominate powers.
Or that would have been fantastic to not have Fortitude on Tori. The fuck do I use it for? I have one thing in it.
And it's not even unswale blind.
No, I didn't take that one specifically because of her gargoyle fuckery. It just gives me 1 extra health bar, which is useful, but if I could have taken Dominate, which would have made more sense for her, 1000% would have done that.
Yes. Or with Steven, and I say this specifically with Steven being able to take Potence.
Right.
Would make sense because, like, you have some Auspex, you have some Obfuscate stuff. You don't have Dominate. You're not going to get Dominate. Well, you do have Dominate, but, like, you don't use it very often.
Right, it's... Go ahead.
Demontation, the cloud memory stuff.
Yeah, but, like, outside of Demontation, like, you don't use it.
Yeah, you probably bought into it for the same reason I did the one thing in Fortitude, just because it was useful and I had an extra dot.
Very much.
Yeah, and let's be honest here, Demontation has come up a couple times and it's really freaking cool. But
yeah,
it's not a make or break thing for Steven. If it wasn't convenient, would you have taken it?
Probably not.
Exactly.
Hey, we can cure you and then you can just lose your Dominate tree.
Well, the bloodline things is
just a fun thought.
The bloodline things is make one character idea I had possible, so that could be fun.
Yeah, it makes a lot of things very interesting now, with the possibility of that.
Yeah. It being 5 might be a little bit much. I think it should still be expensive, but 5 might be a little bit much.
It would make it just harder and you would have to plan around it. That's my thought behind it. What would you rather see it as? I guess you can only buy it in the beginning.
Right. And technically rules is written you're only supposed to have 7. We just allow extras if you take more flaws.
Right.
That's why I said if we were going to give this to other people...
It would be written for our convenience, not for other people.
Fair. I would just put a caveat on that. Written for this rule. If you don't use this rule, you make sure to cost.
Well,
would not
I mean...
go below X.
Would you rather it be a different cost?
For us, I could justify it being 5. For everyone else, I don't know if they could justify it being 5. So
I mean, we can drop it to 4?
Except for our intents and purposes, I'm fine with it being there. Because I take 30,000 flaws just to make this one thing happen.
I build interesting characters, okay?
You build characters that cause you problems.
I do. But I also build thematically. I find that to be a better and more fun way to build characters. And I try to make my flaws make sense.
Yeah, it's kind of like the character sheet that I'm staring at.
Which one?
Definitely don't have 10 dots and flaws.
Does Tori have 10 dots and flaws?
No, that's chance.
Oh. Yeah. It's easy to rack them up, and it makes for a more interesting story if you have more than 2 fucking flaws.
Yes.
So that was one I wanted to specifically talk about because... Let me go back up to the Venture one. I would like to make one for each clan and then leave the bloodlined one open potentially. Because it maybe the strength of honor I could see being taken away because of the bloodlined one. However, so bloodlined allows you to create literally whatever you want. If we make a specific one for each clan that costs less, it could be a way to get around that. Because Strength of Kings, it says we can up it or whatever. Once knights and members of nobility ruled by the sword and the strength of their hand that wielded it, the faith in this divine strength and right of true kings grants you potence as an additional in-clan discipline, replacing dominate.
So, in that thought, in our Ravnos one, we have dominate, which just replaces animalism. And that's a 1 dot thing.
In the bloodline we created, which if we take that out of the bloodline and just put it as a single dot merit, it allows space for something else.
True. So just keeping that in mind. I'm okay with doing that for each individual one if we can find one specific thing that would be a good parallel. And one of the disciplines that don't quite fit 100%.
I would only want to do that for one for each clan. And then Bloodline would allow you to do literally whatever you wanted to do.
Yeah, so you could get this and that, and then that's basically all you get.
Mm-hmm.
Rules is written. Which we all know that's not how we play things.
Right. So those single flip-flops that don't let you pick, do we want to keep them at 2? Or drop them to 1?
I don't think that it's going to cause a whole huge issue if we keep them at 1. Yes, it can potentially be extremely strong if the person that's making it does it right, but it doesn't inherently just say, well, now you're a god, so.
So how about a caveat to those specific ones is that it is purchased on character creation or post character creation if you have 0 dots in the skill.
Yes.
Where Bloodline is only on character creation.
Yes.
Because really, a Ventru that doesn't have Dominate but has Potence would be fucking terrifying.
Yes. And if they take their other one, which I believe is Presence.
Presence, Fortitude, and Dominate, but Presence, Fortitude, Potence. Good lord, that's a tank.
Yes. especially Daunt.
Yes.
Hold on just a second. Nope, he doesn't have that. He's got awe.
Well, no, awe would make it better.
But let's hear I have dominate, presence, fortitude, potence. Wow.
Right. Just
But I
saying though.
actually have plus weapon to dominate, so
Because really, awe draws everything to you.
yes.
And so if you have fortitude, you're a tank. And if you have potence, you're literally a tank.
It's like that's what
Yeah.
I was working on.
You are a non-stop thing.
Because, no offense on this, but I know how Faye builds characters. Faye doesn't build combat characters. And I know how Nen builds characters, and Nen is like, I want to do as much actual physical damage as physically possible. So
Yep.
I sat there, I was like, so I need somebody to cover this and that. I can do this. I can absolutely do this. Which is where we got Chance from.
And the interesting thing with that is if you do the feeding types, you theoretically can still get 1 dot in your in-clan discipline.
Yes.
So like Blood Leech gives Celerity or Protean. I unfortunately took Protean. Or not unfortunately, but I took Protean. Kind of wishing that was Fortitude, because that would have made sense for a swap. But anyway, like that's the kind of stuff you can use as a workaround too. Because you still get a dot from your Predator type. And that has nothing to do with in-clan disciplines.
Correct. But you would have to buy that before you...
Right. No, I'm just saying, like, during character creation or something like that, that would be... that. It just makes for a lot more interesting characters, and also problems if you're in the Camarilla.
Yes.
How do you know this? Why have you learned this?
Potentially, yes.
I mean, not 100%, but if it's glaringly obvious something is wrong, they're gonna question if it's a bloodline or if something like a Diablery thing.
Yes. However, I would say let's hold off on this until we figure out exactly what the... Because isn't Koldunic stuff supposed to be coming out here soon?
It already is out in Blood Sigils.
Okay, well, I haven't seen it, so...
It's only rituals.
And it's blood sorcery, basically, right?
It is blood sorcery, which is what I was going off of even before it came out. However, it is exceedingly disappointing because Blood Sigils came out with no blood sorcery powers. It only came out with rituals. And there's other things too, but like, no powers, just more goddamn rituals, which we were already flooded with.
Yeah. So, what I would say there is Zenitsu would be able to swap, I don't know, probably their flash crafting shit for Koldunic shit.
Yeah, they're Protean for Koldun, or for blood sorcery. 100% okay with that.
Yeah, but we need actual blood sorcery powers that fit into the Koldunic stuff.
There are a couple. We would have to homebrew some, which is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a couple. The one thing with that is that there's a lot of earth-based stuff in Protean.
True. But I think it's because they took away Koldun and then people were like, we want Koldunic stuff. So they're like, well, we have to add it back now.
Well, it was even in the original. One with the land.
Then what would you take away?
What are their things?
Dominate, Protean, and Animalism, I think?
Yeah. Dominate.
Or Animalism. given V5's animalism.
That's true. That's true. It's a lot of beast-related stuff, but I wouldn't say Koldun takes you away from your beast, but it definitely doesn't touch on it overly much. All of the little notes.
And if I'm not mistaken, the flesh crafting stuff requires dominate, right?
Yes, it does.
So I would.
That's why I said dominate at first. Because I would not allow, not allow, theoretically, a Koldun to practice flesh crafting.
That's good. So yeah, you can take away the dominate part. And in with the Koldunic stuff.
Technically, Koldun sorcery or Koldunic sorcery is out of clan for every Zamitzi. However, with these changes, I could 100% see it being registering as in clan.
Yes.
If you were trained or embraced in that fashion. Because that's technically how the old Banu Hakim, the Asamites, that's how they originally did their caste stuff. Or maybe it was Setites, but one of them were like trained to have it as an in-clan discipline instead of it just being one.
It was Banu Hakim.
Okay.
I did extensive research as to Chevy and his why is he not. It's because really they were just really good freaking fighters, but they trained people to be sorcerers.
Yes. So that kind of stuff allows for much easier bloodlines, and then a bloodline lore sheet is just additional perks.
Yes. Which would help.
Yes.
So we can work on that collectively.
Okay. I love the thought of that, which is why I did the Strength of Honor. And then there's, I think, one or two others maybe. But I love the one set swap, and then you can also do the other one. We could limit it to you take one or the other, but I don't think we need to do that.
Pretty sure I'm the only one that would actually, like, do both. And it'd be for a very specific...
I'm sure I could come up with a few builds.
But mine, it would be absolutely just for a fun little... I want to do this because go screw yourself.
But yeah, I thought that could be a lot of fun. Another one I want to touch on before it gets too late, Berserker. This is basically what I've been wanting to touch on with Tori, but it needs to change up a little bit. Raw, it was 3. I can't remember if this one was supposed to be a Brujah one or not. I saw one saying yes, and then one saying it was just a generic one. So it, as written, is the beast is in you, but you know how to direct and make use of it. You have the capacity to frenzy at will and are thus able to ignore wound penalties. However, you must pay the consequences of your actions while in a frenzy, just as you normally would. Your chance of entering an unwilling frenzy is also unaffected. I think I changed it up as I was copying it, and then my comments were just like potentially requiring a willpower roll to enter the Berserker frenzy, or just a regular frenzy, or having it as a higher dot merit. Or maybe requiring a low humanity.
Probably a lower humanity.
5 or lower?
Definitely 5 or lower. And being a higher dot merit wouldn't necessarily be the worst thing in the world. Because, like, a frenzy can be absolutely just destructive. But also, it has a lot of risk to it.
Let me pull up the frenzy thing real quick. So while frenzying, you are immune to health-based penalties short of mutilation. You can only use physical disciplines. You resist mental disciplines with a 3 dice bonus. You cannot use willpower to reroll. And you cannot enter a different type of frenzy or gain compulsions. And you try to complete your goal at any reason. Basically, it would be a compulsion, a compulsive riding the wave. Is what Berserker would be.
Yeah.
So there's also a very similar one that was a Sabbat-based merit called Volatile. Its original cost is 1, and you are extremely savage and explosive even for the Sabbat. While this instability may frighten others, it benefits you, and you relish the moment in which you get to unleash your beast. When you enter a frenzy, I added the caveat, specifically riding the wave, you may immediately regain a superficial willpower. You can only gain this bonus once per combat scene. So I guess it's not exactly the same, but it's in the similar line.
Yeah. I'm actually okay with both of those. Like I said, the Berserker one I feel like might be a little bit higher of a merit.
3? 4?
Probably 3.
Okay.
Just because, like, you would have to actually work for it. It wouldn't just be something that, like, all right, cool, I can do that now.
Mm-hmm.
And B, it would be to be able to willingly, like, just enter a frenzy and gain all of those positives is kind of a big deal. So having it at 2 wouldn't really work.
That's why I think there should be something else along with it. Which is why the wording was bad because I was tired, but where I said a willpower roll, I think you maybe you just completely gain a hunger for rousing the blood, like bringing your beast to the surface. Like your hunger goes up by 1. And then you do a willpower roll to see if you can ride the wave or if you immediately go into an uncontrolled frenzy.
So a willpower roll equal to the unfilled boxes, or half the unfilled boxes, or something to deal with the actual, like, fact that you're low humanity. You have to, like, roll against the beast to make it do kind of what you want it to do. But also what it...
But Raw V5 allows you to ride the wave no matter what.
Right, but, like, to make it frenzy rather than, oh, well, now it's actually wanting to frenzy, so let's just kind of do the thing. It would just effectively just be a willpower roll at that point, though. Well, maybe willpower have to beat your current humanity.
I'd never be able to do that then.
I mean, you.
Or no, well, that's the other thing is, I'm still really confused about how we're handling the path level versus humanity. So,
your humanity's still a thing. It's just you really got to screw up to alter your humanity now. Good or bad, by the way.
Okay.
So right now you're still technically at 2?
Yes, then Tori should be acting completely differently because we said it reset, like her path rating reset to 5.
No, you're still taking penalties from the humanity. Your mental part of it goes off the path.
Okay. I see.
Your physical self is very much like, oh shit.
Okay, so willpower roll equal to remaining humanity
Yeah.
to see what?
To be able to willingly enter the frenzy. Or to force the beast to actually do what it wants to do. Enter a frenzy.
That's kind of why I liked my idea of you roll to see if you either pass or fail if you enter, or if you ride the wave, or your beast just takes over. Like, you can do it. That's why I said maybe it costs one hunger to bring the beast to the surface. We can do the humanity roll. It just doesn't feel like there's enough consequence there.
Well, having to spend the hunger and then do the actual humanity, or do the willpower roll to ride it rather than just blind frenzy, might be a good thing in this particular instance.
Because every other thing to bring the beast to the surface or use the blood or anything like that costs a rouse check. But you're still in control then. Bringing the beast fully forward enough, I could see just eating up a hunger completely.
Yeah.
So, consequence 1.
Yeah, to actually get the full effect of the frenzy just costs the hunger, and then the willpower to be able to control enough. That works. So have that two-parter of, okay, cool, you did it. Can you do the thing and keep it?
Because, like, if you're in a situation where you need it, if you don't ride the wave, you could turn and attack anyone, including your companions.
Yes.
If you ride the wave, you typically go towards what you need to do, what your goal is. Because baseline, if you're in a fight, your goal is to end the fight.
Yes.
By any means necessary, which means literally any means necessary.
Yes. Which could be good, it could be very, very bad.
So what a willpower roll versus blood potent, or not blood potency, versus humanity to ride the wave?
Yes.
Or see if you can control the frenzy?
Yeah, because, and this is where the weird part comes in. I feel like the lower the humanity, the more that you're already in tune to each other, so you can kind of just do it better.
Yes.
So correct me if I'm wrong there, but my idea initially for the willpower roll would still make sense. Which would also be why, like, at higher humanities, you wouldn't be able to ride the wave, so you wouldn't do this. More than likely, because you're not going to pass that willpower check.
There's no... So yeah, rules as written, there is no caveat to riding the wave. Like, there is no negative to riding the wave. Yeah. Not really, other than you just don't... you're trying to not frenzy.
Yeah.
Which obviously comes with its own comes with its own slew of problems. But when it boils down to it, it's either you can control the frenzy, you do not control the frenzy, or you try to push the frenzy away.
Yes.
If we change it completely to riding the wave requires a willpower check versus your humanity, or a normal riding the wave, you need to... I don't know. I'm not sure what to do there. It's just too easy to ride the wave.
Yeah, writing it in this rule makes sense. We can figure out how to ride the wave under a normal circumstance. I feel like it should be a lot harder to do.
Do you need to roll under or over your humanity to ride the wave? And in Berserker?
I feel like you would still have to roll over.
Yeah, you have to beat it.
Yes. So it would be more difficult if you're at like 5.
Yeah.
Rather than at like 2.
I agree. So are all path characters are at 1, 2, or 3 then?
Yes.
Okay. How do they all look normal, damn it?
What do you mean?
Does Small not look normal?
He's always kind of dark around him, so you don't really notice.
Hmm.
However, no, he doesn't actually look normal. He just has a very big, full beard. So, like, the skin things, you can't tell if you get close enough to look at him. His eyes are a little bit bloodshot.
I see. Sorry, that was a random aside. Boone I thought was interesting and cool. I don't know how late we want to go on this one. Basically, you spend dots to buy a boon in the city or with a kindred. Because there's prestation debts and there's like the opposite, kind of, but there's nothing to like buy things. And obviously they could only be purchased on creation or during downtime or like have a reason for it. Or you work with a storyteller to come up with the reason as to why you're purchasing it. But like, it felt appropriate to have something to track that. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm not opposed to it, but Boone as written like this, I would say only during creation. Anything that comes up during the game, it would be very, very hard to justify buying a merit.
Well, the reason I didn't do that, one, because I didn't do a ton of editing as I was copying this, but also once you cash one in, it's gone. It doesn't stay.
Correct. So, again, it would be one of those difficult things of, unless if we wanted to do something like the pre-station stuff, where it's just a ongoing thing.
I didn't like the thought of that. I see this as like during some of the downtime moments. Like if, let's just say if I purchased this as Tori as a 2.1, it would be Barney needed help. And so I have a boon against him now.
I get the understanding, or I get the idea. Justification is difficult, though. Because typically, like, okay, cool, he needed help. So I moved some stuff for him, or I went and, I don't know, went and talked to somebody for him. To buy anything above a 1 dot at that point would be like, I helped his house not burn down. Or I got rid of a very problematic body. Would be like a 2 for me. Or I'm delivering a book for someone that's very, very dangerous. It's like 3 or 4 for me.
It would take a lot of collaboration with the storyteller. I'm not opposed to removing it. I just liked the thought of having, one, a tracker on there, but also something like tangible that you can work with.
So how about rather than 1 to 5, just put it as a 1, something that you could actually like buy during downtime. You can have multiple off of one person, which you can add together. But
well, the 1 to 5 would just be the level, like trivial, minor, major, and life, or whatever.
yeah. But I'm saying like purchasable. You just the 1 dots. That'd be a very easy like downtime thing to justify. The minor ones would be a little bit more, depending on exactly how long the downtime is. Creates a lot of extra like wiggle room there.
Well, we can always put in order to purchase, talk to your storyteller or something like that. I mean, that goes with pretty much all of these, but if we put the caveat of, like, you have to work with the storyteller to even purchase this.
Yeah.
Does that work better?
That would work better. Like I said, in mine, can't guarantee that
I wouldn't buy this anyway. I just used Barney and Tori as the example. But if you guys wanted to do, like, if you worked for one of the NPCs during a chunk of downtime to get this, then that would be where that would come in.
looks at Zep.
Right. And you wouldn't even necessarily need to buy it. This could be another one, like how we have the domain holder. This can be, this is only given out at the storyteller's discretion.
We could do that. Which then wouldn't even need the to ask the storyteller about it.
Right. It just would be, this is only be able to be gotten at the storyteller's discretion. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some of these on here, kind of like Boone, are on here so where when you get around to redoing the sheet, we can put this on an NPC sheet and track it.
That's fair.
Obviously, it's not just limited to NPCs, but I could see that being the majority of it.
Right.
If an NPC helps you guys with something, I'm going to rack up boons on them.
You mean you don't have note cards?
I do have note cards, but this could go on their sheet and not in a notes area.
That was more so a joke than anything. Yeah, I mean...
I'm not fully opposed to removing it. I just liked the thought of being able to track that stuff.
Trackability is nice.
And again, not just in the note space.
Right. Because let's be honest here. Nan, when's the last time that you even read your note space? Faye, when's the last time you've read your note space?
I mean, also, to be fair, I have a whole book of mine, but unless you actually go on my sheet, which I haven't updated in a while, I don't.
Exactly. Buttons
I think
here. When's the last time you've read your note space that I know you use?
Do you add things to ours?
No, I don't. Because if it's something that you feel like needs to be in your notes, then I want you to put it in there. That, and I feel like a couple of you at least a physical local copy that I can't mess with.
I might use it when we update it. A lot of my things were just, they weren't on there.
I know.
Because and manually deleting the stuff and re-entering it got annoying.
Yeah. We added a lot of stuff for you.
I mean, not just me, just even with the NPCs. Because I was creating stuff for Detroit's NPCs. And like half of their stuff, I had to delete the line. Or like delete the rules of the line and then type in my own stuff.
Fair.
That's why I have the physical thing. But like, I was getting annoyed with that. And there was like no descriptions and things like that. Because, I don't know. In Tori's thing, I actually have like the rules written out for everything.
Yeah, I'm not adding the descriptions. I'm sorry.
No, but
That's
I
just too
already
much
have
to
most
fit
of
on
them
that
written down, is the thing.
Yeah, it's just there's too much to fit on that sheet. And then formatting would be awful.
Well, I mean, you have an effect area, so I thought you were going to.
Short notes.
Anyway, that was why I don't use mine. Mostly because adding the stuff that you didn't have added on there was annoying.
Yeah.
But anyway, Boone.
Trackability is good. Probably need to do trackability.
Clan friendship was kind of cool. It was a 1 to 5 thing. One particular clan, not your own, has a special liking for you. You may have done the clan as a whole as a favor at some point, or perhaps you're just a loud voice in support of their aims. Whatever the case, you gain +1 dice per dot in all friendly social roles involving members of the clan in question. Of course, the reaction your cozy friendship with another clan is likely to draw from your own clan leaders is an entirely different can of worms.
So it's like a merit with a flaw in it.
Yeah, there are a lot of these are, actually. I thought that was an interesting one, and then there's also clan hatred, which is obviously the flip side of that. Or clan anonymity or something like that. Oh, I guess we could talk about the one above that, Calm Heart. It's another one that has beast traits in it, so we kind of should figure out what to do with that at some point. But you have a great deal of control over your emotions and can maintain your calm even in outrageous situations. You are considered to have 2 fewer beast traits when resisting a frenzy. Additionally, increase your test pool to resist frenzy by +3. Brujah characters cannot take this merit. As written, it also then said this restriction does not apply to members of the true Brujah bloodline. Which in our case would be the actual bloodline sheet.
True.
Or maybe I may have added that one in because it didn't make sense for... I don't know. Maybe that was... Whichever way, I can change it, remove it, whatever. I liked the thought of that one. It's similar to Cold Dead Hunger, I think. Yeah, Cold Dead Hunger adds 2 dice to resist a hunger frenzy, and it's a cost 3. This one is basically Rage Frenzy. Or I would make it be Rage Frenzy instead of Hunger Frenzy.
So make it frenzy type specific.
Yes.
Okay.
Because Cold Dead Hunger is.
Then would you do one for fire frenzy? Or fear frenzy, technically speaking.
Oh. I couldn't remember what fire resistant was. That's just actual damage. We could. It didn't seem fitting because that's literally the curse. Like one of their big curses. We could do one that adds like 1 dice to it or something like that. And I would absolutely call it Jump the Flame. Because that's what the Sabbat do.
Or make that a thing you have to have really, really high humanity or very low humanity. One of the two.
Or
So like Sabbat or Golconda.
Or what?
The, like, specifically if we're going fire, slash sunlight. Which either way, I mean, it's hit or miss on that one, whether or not we want to allow that, because, like you said, that is the curse.
I think it should not be in there. Because the whole thing is overcoming it yourself. I mean, we could, but overcoming the beast in hunger and overcoming it in rage are two separate things. We could do... Very few things trigger a fear frenzy that isn't a fire frenzy.
True. And those few things really aren't that hard to overcome, from what I remember.
And really, we don't use frenzy rules as we should, because hang on. So there is a fury frenzy, hunger, and terror. So technically a fury frenzy, we should be rolling against them. If a friend is killed, you need to beat a 2. If a lover or touchstone, you need to beat a 4. Physical provocation or harassment, you beat a 2. Insulted by someone below you, you beat a 2. Public humiliation, you beat a 2. So, like, we should be rolling on frenzies a lot more often than we are.
Yes, but also... some of those, like... I don't see why they would cause that. I understand the thought behind them. It's annoying.
Right. I get why we don't always. I might start using them somewhat. Obviously we've done the touchstone. Well, no, we haven't actually. The only touchstone to really get hurt, or the ones that have gotten kidnapped or hurt, we haven't done any tests against. I did, right. When Tori's was killed, I did say, like, she would absolutely have succumbed to it, and then went and killed Haley, but we didn't actually do that.
Yeah.
But, like, the public humiliation, you only have to beat a 2. Depending on the circumstance, yeah. I could absolutely see that happening.
Right.
I just was saying, like, we don't use them as often as we should, but also, that's fury. Hunger is, obviously, when hunger comes into play, but terror frenzy, all of them are about fire. Or sunlight.
Yes.
So there is no variance there.
And they're all like 5 or 6.
Actually, no. Bonfire is a 2. Inside a burning building is 3. Being burned is 2. Obscured sunlight, technically a 3. Fully exposed to direct sunlight, 4.
No, I thought it was higher.
Yep, nope. Like, they're not insanely difficult to overcome, which is why the Sabbat make it a habit of jumping the bonfire, which is only a 2.
Yeah. When it goes bad, oh well.
Right, and V5 at least. Obviously, I don't know what it was in previous editions. But anyway, like, that's... It's not super terribly difficult to overcome a fire frenzy.
For some odd reason, I thought...
If you have decent willpower.
Technically speaking, it's your humanity and...
Oh, is it?
Else. Technically speaking. For some of those. Some of those, not so much. Humanity, 1/3 your humanity plus your blood potence, I think, is what it's supposed to be. I think I could be wrong on that, but
I don't remember what the test should be.
I don't like the idea of that, because then just no. That could be extremely problematic for somebody that's got a shit ton of willpower, like, oh, I don't know, Cat. Sees a little tiny bonfire immediately says nope and leaves.
Yeah.
Which I understand that she's got a high blood potency, but like very hello humanity.
In my opinion, your blood potency should negative that. Like the more thicker your blood and the heavier your beast is, like the harder you're gonna have a time to be near fire. In my opinion.
Yeah, so it's one of those things that like I don't know. I don't remember the exact rule though. So don't quote me there.
Yeah. I don't know. Willpower makes sense to me.
Yes.
It
makes more sense than whatever is there.
Yeah. So the cost of Calm Heart is 1, but Cold Dead Hunger is 3, and it only gives you 2 dice. Should we just mimic that?
Yeah, make them equal and make them do basically the same thing.
There. A Fury Frenzy. I still like that Brujah that don't have the true Brujah bloodline cannot take it. I can remove that.
I like the idea of that because it does separate this from that, which is 100% what a true Brujah tries to do.
Yes.
I'm above that one.
Yes. So I liked that. Oh god, we haven't even touched flaws yet. Maybe I'll pick some flaws now. I've just been scrolling down the list. I don't know how late you guys want to go, so.
Like I said, after this, I'm gonna go do some work at the place.
That doesn't tell me how long you want to go and what time you want to stop.
So, just when I've heard you're done.
But there's a lot to go through. I could go all night, so.
Go a bit longer.
How about we do this? Pick 5.
Okay, first one, Soul Shard. It's a flaw. I fucking love the idea of this one. You have diablerized someone or won against someone who has committed it against you. I added that caveat. And that spirit was strong enough to remain permanently active within your soul. It fights you constantly, and you can never be sure that its sentience isn't influencing your actions. When your body is wounded, the spirit leaps upon the weakness and fights your control. While it tears at you from the inside, you must marshal your inner resources, lest the spirit forever take control. If you ever take enough damage to reach the aggravated wound track or beyond, you cannot spend willpower until you are once more healed of all aggravated damage. I actually changed that one up a little bit because it had different, health rules, but, that's basically what it meant. I put that requirement as having committed diablerie or having it done against you. You subsumed them, Uriel.
Yeah. Which, I like the idea. And it gives a tangible, penalty to reaching aggravated damage.
Yes.
Rather than the penalty that you're supposed to take. That, again, we kind of gloss over most of the time.
What is it anyway? I honestly don't remember.
You're supposed to take a penalty. I think it's a 1 or 2 dice penalty.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, something like that. Crippled and wounded and
yeah,
egregiously wounded or something like that.
Yeah, which unless if you're, from full to, 2, I wouldn't even care, to be honest with you.
See, I loved the thought that it was like a... I know you can't buy flaws. I think you should be able to.
So here's the fun thing: is you can take them willingly.
You can?
During gameplay, yes. There is a thing in the initial core book, I think, that says you can take them willingly. You can take extras. You just don't get extras from it.
Which makes sense.
And it's also highly encouraged that your storyteller give you extra flaws during gameplay.
When
by the way, guys,
when I read that Soul Shard one, I was like, holy shit, this is like the concept I wanted for Tori to begin with.
yes.
With her and Carrie. Like, that's almost exactly what we had talked about.
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, without the exact rules, but like we had said, like there is so much of her left in there. When I read this, I was like...
You did the little kid in the Penguins jersey? Just to...
Yeah, something like that. I would be thrilled to have that flaw. Especially with the amount of Diableries that she's taken.
Yeah, it's... I was trying to find a way to, like, kind of do something similar. Maybe not willpower, but, you know. When performing certain actions, you kind of have to make yourself do it a certain way.
I mean, I would be fine
Okay.
RPing that if we want to go that route. I just very much like Soul Shard.
We can do this, and then I can just add on the RP side of it.
Okay. I would be super happy with that. And we don't hit aggravated damage too much anyway, except for all the amount of time Tori has been burned.
Yes. But to be fair, Tori's always the one that's like, all right, let me talk to you.
Yep.
And
Her willpower shit
very
anyway.
much a, can I stab you in the belly?
Tori doesn't get stabbed too often. She gets fucking burned. I wouldn't be surprised if this point of her whole back is like just one big burn scar.
Probably. Good news if she had any like hair removal issues back there. Now she doesn't.
Who needs a friendly neighborhood Zemitzi to take care of that? But yeah, I liked Soul Shard quite a bit. Thought that was fantastic. Oh, Nen, you've made a comment.
I have thoughts.
I love it. I'll read and go over that one later. Actually, let's hit a Salubri one. Vow of Peace. I think this would be a super fun one for Shiloh. You despise violence of all kinds, possibly as a seeker of Golconda, a follower of Saulat, or due to mortal belief. In order to attempt any power or action that directly results in physical harm, you must spend a willpower before attempting to do so. If you do, you momentarily suppress your beliefs and may take harmful actions against a chosen target for the next 10 minutes. I would make it for the next scene. If a single action would cause you to harm multiple people, you do not need to spend more than 3 willpower points to take action. An action that unexpectedly or indirectly leads to damage does not require you to spend willpower. In addition, if you are forced into violence by compulsion caused by another's supernatural power, such as dominate, you are also not forced to spend the willpower.
I would add in the caveat of, or have no other options than to participate in the back. Just at the end there.
Yeah.
Because, like, you're cornered in a room, you have to hurt someone to get out of the room, or you're going to die. You kind of have to. It's survival.
Mm-hmm. I just really liked the thought of that one, and it absolutely made me think of Shiloh.
Absolutely.
Um. Aura of the Worm is interesting. We don't need to talk about it, but I want to point it out to you. I think it's super cool. And I think Tori and Cyril absolutely have this at this point. You radiate corruption to such a degree that any guru in the locale are drawn towards you. It's a serious flaw, and your unlife is constantly threatened by frenzied attacks directed against you by enraged werewolves.
They would if there wasn't the treaty.
Right, that's why I said, like, that's a really interesting flaw. We don't need to go over it or anything. It's just interesting.
Yeah.
Beast in the Mirror, I think, is going to take a lot of talk because it deals very heavily with beast traits. I do like it, though. It's basically your reflection reflects the beast inside of you. Like, there's a bunch of Hakata ones that were that said, like, your reflection is your death state and things like that. But anyone who sees your reflection sees the beast leering back at them and not you.
So kind of make it like La Sombra of like mirrors screw you over.
Kind of,
just
yeah.
in a very different way this time.
Yes. It deals with beast traits, and the more beast traits, the more it is, and like that's why I said it needs a longer discussion, but I really love the thought of it.
We can absolutely work on that. Because I feel like I could probably make that into a 1-dot flaw and have there be a merit to it,
Okay.
but overall be a flaw.
But
But we'll get to that later.
yeah. Gehenna Prophet. This is a really neat one. You suffer from visions of apocalyptic disaster and premonitions of wide-scale destruction. The universe is wrong somehow, and karmic balance will return to make everyone suffer. You have waking nightmares and visions of a hellish future that never occurred. Some say this is a byproduct of a difficult embrace. Others say it's a premonition of Gehenna or a version of Gehenna that never occurred. When... I think I added this bottom part here in order to make it make sense for the new rules. When you roll a messy critical or bestial failure, you may fall into a vision. When these visions occur, you must spend an aggravated willpower to break free. If you run out of willpower for any reason, you fall into torpor and become plagued by this vision. The same is true when you enter torpor for any reason. It basically is a secondary compulsion.
I'd be okay with it.
I did have, it says cost 2. I don't see that necessarily being a problem. It was just really intriguing to have, there's actually a decent amount of Gehenna stuff coming, like, that came up in this. And there's a salubri merit that is basically a normal merit, but, like, cheaper because you're a salubri. And does a little bit extra for dealing with Gehenna stuff. It's very cool. So we have Bloodlined. There's also Inept. It costs 3. We can change that. Your embrace was a difficult one, and perhaps fate did not intend for you to become a member of the clan that chose you. You have no skills with one of the native disciplines of your clan. You do not start with a free dot in this discipline, and you must pay out-of-clan experience to purchase this discipline, although you do not require a teacher. You must purchase this flaw at character creation, and this flaw cannot be removed. So it basically, it stays as one of your 3, but you pay out of clan experience for it.
I like the idea. And I could see that being something that I actually use.
Interesting. And obviously you would not be able to use one of the discipline swaps or bloodlined to fix it.
Right. Like I said, I could see me actually using that
Really?
for like an actual character.
Who?
One of my personal characters that I would absolutely play.
It's a very interesting narrative one, because you're like a step away from a caitiff at that point.
Yes.
Again, not a super big discussion we needed to have on it, but they actually had a flaw beyond ugly. It was called monstrous. Your beast pokes through your mortal visage, turning you into something monstrously ugly. Lose 3 dice from all relevant social pools. I liked that it was just like one step beyond basically what Nosferatu used to be.
Yeah. I would definitely add in, while taking this, actually, I'll go ahead and add in my little comment.
Okay. I did Touch of Corruption is very similar to the flaw that Kosea wanted to take with Lottie, and I did change it a tiny bit. Your skin is as cold as death. Prolonged exposure to plants causes them to wither as though dying from cold or rot. Animals shy away from your death-like touch unless trained otherwise, and it bars you from taking points in Animal Ken.
I would be okay with that.
There's a lot of really cool ones that I would love to talk about.
There's one up top that actually deals with Animal Ken that I kind of laughed at.
That deals with what?
Animalism or Animal Ken.
Which one?
Pied Piper.
Oh. Yes. I thought that was cool. I like it being either or.
Yeah. If you have one but not the other, or you have the other but not the one.
Right, because or maybe it should just be Animal Ken. But you can take Bon Famulus without having Animal Ken.
Right. Which is why I say,
Oh, both?
yeah, this or that.
Okay,
Regardless
not
of-
both together, like both either or.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I laughed at that one. I like that they can also see through your obfuscation.
Thus the cats.
Yes.
Staring in the corner. What are you staring at? You're weirding me out. It's just a Nosferatu. It's fine.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of really cool clan merits and flaws. Actually, the Brujah one is really interesting. Cowardly Beast. In the modern Knights, Brujah are a fiery group of warriors, individualists, and rebels driven to both success and failure by their temptastrous nature. While you share their blood, you lack the fire of their convictions. Your beast is a coward, and while other Brujah often frenzy in rage, your beast always frenzies out of fear. Whenever you would suffer a rage frenzy, you instead suffer a fear frenzy.
And must run.
That's what a fear frenzy does.
Yeah.
You flee what you're afraid of.
Which is kind of funny.
Yes. I thought that was hilarious.
I could even add in, and under normal fear frenzies, make it more difficult I wouldn't necessarily know how much extra we would add. But if you're already cowardly, you might as well add
Blood potency?
Frenzy. Bane severity. Which realistically is the same thing.
No, it's not. Your blood potency 1, so 12 and 13 are blood potency 1, but Bane severity 2. They changed it. I think it's stupid. I think it should be Bane severity 1 still, but technically it's Bane severity 2.
So yeah, blood potency makes more sense. So it's not as big of a problem.
Yeah, I liked that. I thought it was funny. Also, the Caitiff bad luck one cracked me up. It wasn't... No, I think this one was actually specifically Caitiff. Some vampires have all the luck. You are not one of them. Once a night, the storyteller may turn a successful non-combat related challenge into a failure as long as it would not result in serious harm.
I want to hotwire the car. I got 12. The alarm goes off.
Yes. It cracked me up.
I could see me using that. Because yeah, that would be funny.
And it doesn't always have to screw you over. Sometimes it would just be funny. Other times, it could be used to progress a story along or to cause difficulties.
Yes.
Does Winnie now have this?
No, Winnie does not have that.
I accidentally hit the pedal that made my chair go up and down.
I know.
Whoops. Yeah, there's a bunch of interesting ones. Rat in a Cage is cool. It's a gangrel one. You abhor being restrained or caged. Anytime your movement is restricted, you gain a beast trait and must test for a rage frenzy. Your movement is considered restricted if you are being prevented from leaving a room, if you become restrained with handcuffs, if you are subject to a grapple, or if you are affected by a power that lowers your movement. You may not incur this more than once per hour. This was a Mind Ice Theater one. Probably once per scene.
Yeah, and rather than the beast trait, that would just take that entire part off. Just, well, you have to do the frenzy thing. Just because, let's be honest here, it's kind of, yeah.
Kind of what?
If we're saying that beast traits are basically stains, that
Right, they're not exactly stains, but they're sort of treated like them, but also it's like how often it almost seems like it's like it would be a building penalty to a frenzy roll.
right, but how would we track that?
Right, it would require a whole secondary tracker.
Which we're not going to do, so.
Right, I'm just saying, like, that seems to be how it is treated. Or, like, what the equivalent would be. Which is unfortunate, because that actually would be quite fun.
Yeah. Also, your Malkavian making them Ventru light is...
Which ones? Feeding fetish? Yes. I laughed at that one. Yeah. It's not quite as bad as the whatever it's called.
Prey exclusion?
Yeah, it's not as bad as prey exclusion, but it does make it a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, like I have to wear this specific purple sock and dance on it 3 times, and then I can do the thing.
Yeah.
It's more so for RP, I feel like.
Well, it causes problems for hunting, potentially.
Yeah.
Or at least allows you to be tracked easier.
Yes.
So yeah, it mostly is for RP. There's several of these merits and flaws that are mostly RP, but again, fun flavor.
Yeah.
Trackable fun flavor that could be quite fun for NPCs.
Yes.
Um,
And to kind of go off of the prey exclusion, I feel like there's extra stuff that we could talk about, which we'll do that off air because it'll require a big old conversation about. That could require certain environmental things to happen or not be present.
Like I don't know if you have prey exclusion for Johnny, but that feels like it could be a good replacement for it.
He does not technically have prey exclusion, but he has the like super crazy addiction one. So yeah.
That's fair.
So he kind of does.
Yeah. There's a fun Ravnos one. Confusing realities. What is real? What is illusion? You're having trouble telling the two apart, and in most cases, you would rather live in a world of illusions than the real world. You must spend a point of willpower to disbelieve any use of chemistry or similar illusionary powers, to even, like, attempt the roll. In addition, you suffer a -2 penalty on all awareness and investigation pools involving breaking a power that tricks the mind, such as obfuscate.
I like the idea, but I think that having to spend willpower to use the actual discipline might be a little bit.
No, not use it, to go against it.
Oh yeah, then that would be fine.
Because instead of just a strictly contested roll, you're going to automatically fail unless you spend a willpower to willfully see through it.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that. I wouldn't use it on my characters, but I'd be fine with that.
No, but it could make for a fun one to combine with the one where you see the dreaming.
Yes.
Or see through the dreaming, into the dreaming.
I hear that all of the Cassiette are going to have all of them.
Not all of them. Cowardly Blood. This is one that I changed up a little bit as a Ventru flaw. You've never been good at asserting yourself and commanding others. While this can manifest in any number of ways in your personality and in how you interact with others, it is so deeply ingrained into your being that you must spend blood, like a rouse check, to successfully use dominate on others. Any dominate power that normally costs no blood requires one blood to activate. Obviously, one rouse check. Yeah, a lot of the flaws I don't feel like need to be talked about as heavily as the merits, but there's still things obviously we need to go over and cost-wise and all of that.
Yeah.
But there is such cool old ones that would work so well in a conversion.
Yes.
And just so much more variance in our characters and NPCs and just allow for so much more gameplay and game variation. Like there's one acute senses, and then I forget what I named the opposing one, but it's basically let me find acute senses. Here we go. Acute senses is one of your senses is exceptionally sharp, be it sight, hearing, smell, touch, or taste. You need to select one. Because they technically had them all listed out separately, but I thought that was dumb. The difficulties for all tasks involving the use of this particular sense are reduced by 2. The merit can be combined with the discipline of aspects to produce superhuman sensory acuity. I think I put I put disadvantaged senses as basically literally the opposite, and that using aspects creates a normalized sense for that one. Like, it just takes away your penalty.
Which, in Yuri's case, would be really cool. As far as, like, them just having the acute senses of hearing.
That's actually what she has. I don't remember what we did it for her, but that was before I started looking at all of this, so we may change it. But that's actually what it is.
Okay.
I play it up as, like, her hearing is so good that, like, any loud noises causes her problems. So it is a merit, but it also can be a drawback.
And
or maybe she has it as a flaw, but it, whichever.
Yeah. So you can kind of play that one off as somebody had a perfect life.
Yep.
And it just got amplified.
Yes. Or like someone's hearing was so good that they can now hear like dog whistles and stuff post-embrace.
Yeah. Or their eyesight was like 10/20. So like ridiculously good, and then it just got better.
Yep.
Or their smell was, God bless them, fantastic, and now it's even worse.
Yeah.
Taste probably wouldn't come into effect too much. But maybe it would allow them to actually taste food still.
Right.
When paired with eat food, they could actually be an enjoyable experience.
Yes. Or they have a higher chance of getting disgracious. Even if the person doesn't have that actually.
That'd be fair.
That's how I would play taste, too. Like, even if the person isn't feeling as strong enough for that, like, there's a chance.
That would be something that we would have to write into the actual merit itself. Or have a separate merit that just says acute taste.
Well, that's why I said they were all technically broken up initially. I just lumped them all into one.
Acute senses as a whole makes sense, but acute taste would have to be its own separate thing. Because like acute touch, it's kind of the same, in the same realm of things. Of they were just very sensitive. Now they can feel like vibrations on a metal floor that are very faint.
Yeah. So we can do more discussions of that one. I don't know if you want to go to 12:30 or not, like we typically try to. But there is at least one of the salubri ones, which I think Buttons might like, a merit. Back to merits real quick. The Master's Path. You are in possession of some portion of Salat's ancient teachings about reaching Golconda, and you have spent time diligently studying the way to suspire. I don't know what that means. I'd have to look that up. You receive one of the benefits of the Golconda Seeker merit, or you receive the benefits of the Golconda Seeker merit, and you may pick 2 benefits from that merits list instead of the usual one. If you drop below the humanity threshold required by Golconda Seeker, you do not lose this merit, but you do lose all benefits associated with it until you regain your lost humanity. In addition, these teachings give you the innate ability to resist your bane to a degree. You receive a free retest on any test to resist frenzy. You gain no benefit from this merit when losing humanity or gaining beast traits if you commit diablerie. To purchase the merit, you must have minimum 4 dots of the lore skill and must possess the lore skill specialization in Golconda. Again, needs to be reworded, but it's kind of a neat one. And then, where is... How do I know I have Golconda Seeker on here, or at least I thought I did. There we go. I do have it. It requires humanity 8 or higher. I think I laid that one out just because that's the only way it made sense to me. We could drop it to 7, but most kindred start at 7. You are on the path to Suspire, researching and working towards the mythical state of enlightenment known as Golconda. Purchasing the Golconda Seeker merit indicates that you have discovered actual useful information helping you along the path. Your intense efforts to control the beast have altered your physiology slightly, and as such, you gain a slight advantage over your vampiric condition. You emanate a feeling of serenity, a tangible reflection of the weakening of the beast. Your storyteller will work with you to determine the specific myths your character has heard, blah, blah, blah. And then it's going more, you need to have 4 points in the lore skill, Golconda. Basically, I would be like occult Golconda or academics Golconda or something like that. Yeah, so one of the things it does is that you can spend, it says it spend additional 2 blood points per turn. I don't know what to change that one to. You do not need to spend a blood point to wake each evening. Maybe change that to something like, you get a reroll on your evening rouse check.
You can roll 2 dice and take the more positive result.
You no longer suffer the penalties of your clan weakness. If your humanity dips below 5, you lose access to the benefits of this merit until you repurchase your humanity. Or regain. If your humanity drops below 4, you remove this merit with no refund of XP. And then please note, this does not guarantee you reach Golconda, it's just it denotes that you're actively seeking the path and have more knowledge than most. Cost is 5. I feel like that's fair for all that it gives.
Yeah. Honestly, that might be a little bit low for all that it gives, but I'm fine with keeping it at 5.
We could put it higher, but 5 is technically the highest dot merit, theoretically.
I thought there were like 6 and 7 ones. Either way, it doesn't really matter.
I don't like that you just no longer suffer your clan weakness. I think it should be a reduced effect for your clan weakness.
Seeing as everything is at least 2. Because blood potency 2 is still 2, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean blood potency 2 is still 2?
For your clan bane.
Oh, yeah.
So, how about your... This 3 would be 3, and I don't know what 4 goes to. I would assume it'd be 3 as well.
Yeah.
Bad me for not knowing what a blood potency 8.
I have a chart here. Well, I have minimum and maximum blood potency. Is that what you were looking for?
No, I'm just looking for the Clan Bane severity.
Oh. That's where is that? It's actually, they updated it in the errata. The companion book updated it. Here it is. Okay, so blood potency 0 has 0 bane severity. Blood potency 1 has 2, 2 has 2, 3 has 3, 4 has 3, 5 has 4, 6 has 4, 7 has 5, 8 has 5, 9 has 6.
So making it just reduced by 1 probably is the best possible way we can do that.
What does the bane severity do for Salubri, by the way?
Their bane is
I just don't know what the
Vitae's addictive, so it's hold on.
Yeah, I just don't know what the bane severity changes about it. Then also, you can spend 2 additional blood points per turn. Obviously needs to be changed as well.
Right.
There you go.
It doesn't say anything about bane severity there.
Right. But should still absolutely be a thing.
Right. Because for Gangrel, you receive a number of animal traits based on your bane severity.
Right.
I don't know what most of them do for their bane severity, actually. I think Gangrel may be one of the only ones that touch on that.
So, Venture, you have to spend a number of willpower to go outside of your feeding, preference.
Mm-hmm.
Equal to your bane severity. Let's see here. I think Malkavians, while under a delusion, they take a penalty equal to the bane severity, if I'm not mistaken. Nen could tell me closer on that one. Toreador, if you're not in aesthetically pleasing places, you're supposed to take a penalty equal to your bane severity. I think really the only ones that don't suffer as per his bane severity are Ravnos and Salubri.
Okay.
Because Ravnos is just you need to. Or no, actually, even Ravnos, since you take damage equal to your bane severity.
Yeah, it's weird.
So I think
We can
that's
revisit
the
that
way
later.
to say that.
Yeah, it's definitely weird. But we can go over that later. Yeah, Life Giver, another Salubri one, kind of just
That would
ups
fit Shy.
Obeya.
That would absolutely fit Shiloh.
Oh, 100%. I thought she'd like that. There is a couple like the fusion and unblinking eyes and the Salubri flaws are also really freaking cool. Like the Salubri had some really cool shit. Fusion is whenever your eye closes, it heals shut. And then you take superficial damage to open it again when you use your Auspex powers / it bleeds and all of that.
That would be awful.
Yes. Like it tears open. But that fixes your masquerade problem unless it opens.
True.
And I assume it would just look like a scar or something.
I would assume as much, yeah.
And then there's like the opposite of unblinking eyes. You have developed a peculiar and potentially incriminating behavior. While most vampires have learned to continue blinking to appear normal, you have lost all ability to blink. This keeps you from closing your third eye. Obviously, this causes you a great risk in situations where your clan is not accepted.
Yes. It just sits there and hello.
Right? Like you just can't close your eyes.
Dude, blink, I can't.
Right. Obviously, you can't take that in fusion. But yeah, like, the unblinking eyes one cracked me up. But the fusion one was really cool.
Yeah. Would cause a lot of problems. But yeah.
Yeah? But yeah, there were so many cool and flavorful stuff that I would love to bring into our games.
In any case, I should probably head over to the place with the people and the stuff.
Okay, I guess if you have to.
Well, they actually start like doing their job here in about half an hour or so.
Oh. Rip.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would like to continue going over these and slowly add them onto our Trello list as we fix them.
Yes.
So maybe I'll do a thing like I'll copy paste one into one of our channels and we can just discuss it until we feel it's fixed. And then move on to the next one.
That works for me.
Okay.
And I will add another page to my spreadsheet of like full descriptions.
Oh, that's...
I figured out how to do it.
Okay.
I just make this equal that, and then they both have to reference off the same shit.
Okay. 90% of them I already have written descriptions for anyway, and I'm actually going through on a Google sheet for, mostly for my sake, but I can share it, where I'm getting all of the rules and everything together and like getting rid of the BS fluff in the books, and adding in every discipline, every lore sheet, every single thing that's, and it's not on the Trello board, it's just on a Google sheet. I can share that too, but that's where everything else is going to be too.
Understood.
So a lot of easy copy pasting.
Yeah, which helps.
Yeah. I've gotten a good chunk of the way through the lore sheets and everything too.
Nice. Maybe I'll work on that a little bit today if I have time, which I probably will. But...
I'll share the rules one. I'll share it in our...
Yeah. If you want to just put in the links and stuff, you're good there. That way everyone can see.
But yeah, I would very much like the merits and flaws to be worked on so we can use them. Because there's a lot that fit all of our characters and then super fun NPCs.
Yes. Or super fun upcoming NPCs for some odd reason.
Yes.
I messaged Faye about one particular flaw actually is going to be used.
Mm-hmm. Lots of fun. And just so much more variance and variety. Like, I'm super excited for these to come into play.
Yes.
What channel should I put them in? Like, as we discuss them. Because homebrew rules is our actual rules, but maybe we can start one with homebrew discussions. There we go. I don't want to overload it, so I probably will just pick one at a time.
Yeah. Maybe, or I mean, we could create individual threads for everything.
There's a lot.
Right, but I'm just saying, like, as we put one in, then create another thread for the next one, rather than, like, lists of...
Threads are temporary, though, I thought.
I don't know. I haven't used them, because...
Yeah, I'm fairly certain, unless you're on Nitro, they are temporary.
No, well... Then Button's gonna make threads, because Nitro.
I think the server has to be on Nitro. Or it has... I don't know, we'll figure it out. Anyway, thanks for listening to us if you listened. I hope you got some ideas for merits and flaws yourself, and if you want to see our conversions, let us know and we'll figure something out. Not sure how we're gonna do that, but we'll figure something out. You will definitely see them come up in our games, though. Thanks, and have a good one. Stick around for our Tuesday next game, which will actually be a game.
Have a good night.
Good night.